Hi and welcome to another episode of Top Volts, and today we're going to be looking at the Lotus 1961. This is the C63. I have done a previous video on this car, but today we're going to change the braids. As you can see on this one, there is no braids. I purchased it like this, so I haven't actually heard this motor run up at all. So we'll open this up and have a look at putting the new braids on. Okay, so we'll start off with just releasing this retaining clip just at the front of the car there. Once again, you pull out until you just feel a bit of resistance. And in the back, we have one screw. Which we'll just place over there for a moment. Lift it around. So just remove the body shell. Okay, that all looks very clean. Remove the front axle. And the motor itself, which is an RX motor, it's actually in very good condition. There's no cleaning needed on that, and the brushes look to be new. So we'll just replace the front braids. I may put a small amount of oil in there because that looks quite dry at this point there. Okay, so to release the braids, you've got your guide just here, and the braids should stick out through these two gaps. But that is actually held together from the other side. So what you've actually got is, you can see like these slatted, grooved areas. If I can go closer, just there. So what you want to do is actually lift this section out, and hopefully that will leave this guide section in place. So if we can carefully prise, sometimes you have to use a tool to get this out, but I'm hoping, no, it's too stiff. So let's see if I can just carefully put a bit of pressure either side. I'll try the other side. There you go, it's starting to come. These can sometimes be a little bit stiff, and other times you can actually just pull these off with your hands. So what there is a slot in the center which sits down into a groove inside there. So that section there sits in there. So what we need to do is place our braids through there and just ensure that they make contact on these two brass tabs. So I've got some braids here. So we'll pass those through. Just bringing them through to the bottom. Just holding your finger on there. You can have these poking out a little bit up the top just to give you sort of a guide of where you go into. I'll replace the other one through there. Try and stop them at the same height. Perfect. Then we want to slide this back into the slot, ensuring that the braids make contact. You can see down here they're making contact with those two brass connections, those brass tabs. And then you just want to push down, firm it, and you just heard that click. So now that's fixed into place with the braids coming out the bottom like that. So we just need to trim these back now, and the guide just here. So we'll just trim these back lightly. Let's leave just a little bit of a long braid on there for now. Again, that side. That's perfect. And that's all sitting as it should. So replace this a little bit of oil now. So what I'm trying to do is put a tiny bit of oil just to soak up. What I like to do, I often like to put it straight onto the spine and allow this then to soak into this sort of spongy area, which will absorb the oil and retain it there a little bit longer. The same at the front here. So and you literally just need a drop in there, not a lot at all. And the same on this point there. Just let that run in. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, so we put the front axle back in. What we have are these two brass, I'm not sure what you would call these, sleeves, brass sleeves that will literally sit back into this area here. And they should push down and hold. There you go. And that should push down and hold the front axle in place. Brilliant. Okay. Now we'll put the body shell back on. So once again, front tab, just ensure you pull that back. So after we've worked on it, we've pushed that tab in the way of the guide. And what we don't want to do is break that or squash that off. So we're just going to slide that down. You see there's some locating tabs. And this is the aid in the location on the front. Perfect. We just roll that over, slide the tab back in, and replace the screw. When doing these screws up, you really don't need to apply a lot of pressure at all. You just want to take a bit of a pinch on it. Because what that's actually screwing into, there's like a coiled spring, which acts as a thread for the screw to bite into. So you really don't need to wind this in very much at all. Okay, perfect. So that's back together. So next job is just to run it up and just ensure that the motor is working as it should. Okay, so we'll run the motor in and we'll leave the volts down low and then slowly increase. So I'm just going to lift the back wheels ever so slightly, and we'll put a small amount of volts in and just allow those brushes so I'll increase the volts. Bring those back down. perfect. That's running great. I hope you've enjoyed my video and found the tips helpful. As always, any helpful tips, guides, or advice on this car or any other sort of vintage Scalextric car, please leave a comment because it helps myself and others very, very much. And it's always nice to keep these old vintage cars working and functional and keeping us playing with them. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next one.